So before we talk about scales, there's a few concepts that we need to keep in mind, and we'll just go through them now. So one is all the notes that you have in music. I'll just go through them one by one. So you have A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, and back to A. So it's important to note that after G sharp, you go back to A, you go up to A, and then you could keep on going higher. Just like the other end, below A, you'll have a G sharp, and you can keep going lower. So it's a spectrum. So you're going from low to high. It's like a frequency range. It is a frequency range. We're just putting names to each frequency. Okay. So now that that is done, now we can look at something called half steps and whole step. That's another important concept. So half step and whole step. So let's see what that is. So let's just take this note here. Doesn't matter what it is. Now a half step above this would just mean I'm going up to the next note. And a whole step would mean I'm going up to the note after that. So I'm skipping one and going to the next. Just get in closer so you can see. That's a whole step. That's a half step. Half, whole. Half, whole. So it's important to know that I can also play it like this. On two strings. On one string it will look like this. On two strings it will look like this. So it's important to know that from an A to an A sharp it's a half step, rather than looking at it only from the distance covered on the fretboard, because that can change when you go on different strings. So just know that A to A sharp is a half step, A to B is a whole step, and then apply that same concept to all the notes. Okay, now that we've talked about half and whole steps, now let's look at one string. Let's look at C, since you're already doing the chords in this scale. Let's look at that. So let's start off on C, your open string, or let's call it 0, because it'll be easier to count up from there. So from 0, let's take a whole step. So we're not going to play the first fret, we're skipping that, and we're playing the second fret. Now we skip the next one and play the note after that. So again, another whole step. So let's play it up till here now. Now from the third note, we're going to take a half step. Now whole step, whole step, whole step, and then half. So now if you play that continuously, you get your major scale. And now how do we name this? So there's a few things to consider. One, what note are you starting on? We're starting on C, so the first part is C. And now what scale is this? This particular interval set, half, whole, half, whole, half. Whenever you do that combination of intervals on any note, it's called a major scale. So the way you'd name this is C major scale. So that's the nomenclature of it. Okay, another important thing to consider is like what notes you're actually playing. So let's look at that. So we're going C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So it's again, remember that B and E do not have sharps, so everything else has a sharp. So that's how you can count up to it. And since we're on C, you can count like this. So you can go C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, and so on until you reach C again. So that's the cool thing about the double dots. On the 12th fret, your open string and your 12th fret are the same note. So from here your cycle starts all over again. Okay, so first I just want you to practice half steps and whole steps, understanding what half and whole is, and then I want you to just play the scale like I showed you.